welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick, with the City of Hampton's Communications and Marketing Department. And today we're going to tackle a very serious issue, the issue of safety and taking care of our employees and preventing accidents. And my guest is Mark White. Welcome, Mark.
Glad to be here.
You are a very serious guy, and you're serious about the topic of safety. And yet, I think you've brought a guest who adds a little bit of fun into the equation.
Well, I have brought a guest today. His name is Saxby the Safety Dog. He is a shelter dog that we found at a local shelter, and how it came about is much of my job as the Environmental Safety and Health Coordinator for the city deals with enforcing mandates. And so I sort of get the black hat.
You're not the good guy.
No, I'm not the good.
You're making people come to training.
There you
You're
go.
telling them boring things about MSDS sheets
Exactly.
and things like that.
And so we've done a real good job at improving the program over the last couple of years. But you can't sustain a continuous improvement always being the black hat. So we thought that we'd bring a new partner on board, and that was Saxby. As I said, we found him at a local shelter. Shelter dog. I want to put a little plug out there for shelter animals. But
why not?
We found him at a local shelter, and what stood out is when we went in, first off, he was wearing this safety vest.
I was going to ask if he was already wearing the vest or if that was the first thing you did. Okay.
He had the vest on.
That's
he was sitting
nice.
there, had the vest on.
And the vest is important because?
Well, that's a safety vest. It's what you'll see many of our workers here in the city, especially the ones who are working out on the highways where there's traffic or other unsafe situations. You'll see them with the vest. And,
which is bright colored. It's got the reflective tape.
Exactly. You'll see the same thing for the state workers.
If Saxby were to run out in front of traffic,
they would see him right away.
My dog, you wouldn't notice. But yeah. Saxby's a little bigger than my dog also.
Slightly. But and he seemed to know a lot about safety. That was another plus. Another thing about Saxby is he loves bones. Fine connoisseur of bones. And
ribs, probably, especially.
And most importantly, what really sealed the deal is that Saxby can dance.
All right.
Okay, Saxby wanted me to ask you if he could, at the end of the interview, kind of show you a few moves.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you, Saxby.
All right.
So you're actually going to use Saxby teaching grown-ups like me about safety.
Well, actually, it'll be grown-ups as well as children.
Because the city isn't just an employer teaching its own employees, we're educating the community.
Exactly. And, you know, from the normal paradigm is that you sort of, you educate the ones who are, you know, when they're at work. But we're sort of stepping out of it a little bit to try and reach people even when they're at home. So part of what we will deal with Saxby will be home safety. Maybe it'll be bicycle safety for the children, maybe a skateboard. We're entering a period now known as the 101 critical days of summer. And generally that period is about...
See, you make it sound ominous. Here you go with the black hat again. I'm like, it's wonderful. It's springtime. I'm out working in the yard. I got my weed eater. I'm ready to go. And you're going to say it's dangerous.
No. What I'm saying is that is a time during the year when we're most active. And we do a lot of activities that we would not normally do in the winter. As such, the risk goes up. And so what we here in the city of Hampton want is, since we put so much time and money, and we are a family, and since we put that time into a person, we want them safe whether they are at work or whether they're at home. And we realize that the risk increase as they are at home and they're out doing boating or fishing or whatever. And so we just want to put a little reminder out there, not the black hat, but with Saxby, him being helping with the sort of the comic side of it.
He's going to keep me awake during the training,
there
right?
You go.
That's
there
what
you
it
go.
is. But you know, that is important. And I noticed that was one of the things that you all did when you had chainsaw safety training for Parks and Rec and Public Works and people who do cleanup, was you also put out a list of tips because you've already gathered that information. It's already right there. Why not share it with the citizens and make them a little safer too?
Exactly. And that's really our focus. And if you can get people interested in safety, that's a good thing, because most people by nature would want to reject safety, but Saxby is going to play, we hope, a major role in getting that interest up, whether it be somebody that's in the 2nd grade to somebody that's older.
Well, you know, I think part of it is we all want to be safe. We all want to lose weight. We all want the right things. It's just, you know, doing them can be hard. You have to think about it. You have to slow yourself down a little bit. And
the other thing is, you know, as I said, I have the black hat. So people throughout the city, they know me, and okay, well, it's just Mark.
You get those emails and you just hit delete,
right? Yeah, there you go. But, you know, with Saxby, it's kind of hard to do. You know, you look at him.
Oh, those big puppy dog eyes.
There you go.
I can't say
a little bit better looking than me. So.
So is Saxby going to join, you know, McGruff the crime dog in kinds of children's events, or what do you envision?
Actually, we did one event. It was the Hoop-de-Doo a few weeks ago, where they actually took up collections of food for one of the shelters here, and Saxby was there as well as McGruff. So,
and that was the police versus fire.
Yes, that was the police
tournament.
Yes,
okay.
and he was there with McGruff, and McGruff. We don't expect to to run over McGruff. We kind of want to work with McGruff. He's more on the crime side. Saxby is going to work a little bit more with the safety side to kind of complement each other.
Okay. All right. Well, are there any sort of general safety tips you want to give folks at home? Maybe a couple of things you teach in the defensive driving course, or in operating machinery, or just a few things you want to leave people with?
Probably the most important thing that we can do is use personal protective equipment, and many people call that PPE, but that's going to be your first line of defense. I think when things are designed and whatnot, they get it as safe as they can through engineering, and where we can't get it any safer, then that's where PPE plays that role. So whether you're out mowing the lawn, which we probably do on a weekly basis this time of the year, it's important to have that hearing protection, the eye protection.
Oh yeah, I never do. I do the eye though. I actually stopped the weed eater and went in and got it.
Most people will forget about the hearing, because hearing is one of those things that is subtle. You don't realize that you're losing it. And it's one of those things that once you lose it, you don't get it back.
Right.
Another thing that's going to be important out there is to wear footwear, because you're down there with the blades and whatnot. And so not flip-flops, but real footwear. Exactly.
Right. And clogs, tennis shoes.
This time of the year, I'm a motorcyclist. This time of the year, a lot of motorcyclists are going to be out and about. PPE being visible is important. As a motorcyclist, you'll see that people just don't see you. So if you can wear the high-vis vest, much like what Saxby has.
Oh, really? Okay.
Helmets are required in this state, so that's not a problem. And a lot of what you do out there, you'd want to think about what you do before you do it. Don't take shortcuts. And I think the other thing is we really want an overlap, whether they be at home or at work, because what we believe is that people don't necessarily change their habits when they clock in at work. So if they speed or if they cut corners off or at home, then they're likely to do it at work. So this is really a thing where we're trying to bring home and work.
So you really teach them at work, but then they can bring those things home and keep the same routines and be healthier and safer at home as well.
Exactly, so that they will be a member of this team, Hampton, for quite a while.
Well, that sounds great. Okay, and before we close, Saxby is going to give a little entertainment for us. Is that right?
Okay, Saxby's got 3 dances that he likes to do. The first one is going to be the robot. Go ahead, Saxby. All right, that's the robot. We got the Cabbage Patch. And the last is pretty popular right now. It's Gangnam Style. All right. All right.
Awesome. Okay, so if I go to one of your trainings, Saxby will dance for me and keep me awake. And, you know, it is one of those association things, though. The organizers say that if you have a color that you associate with a piece of information, or if you begin to associate Saxby and Gangnam Style with safety or remembering to take a break or slow down or use, as you call it, PPE. See, I'll remember that term now when I see Saxby.
And one of the things we hope is that we go into the future. Right now, you receive the emails, you receive them from Mark White. What we're hoping to do in the future is to form Team Saxby, or much of the information will come from Saxby. And so we kind of put,
you really are pushing this off, aren't you?
We want it to work. We want it to work.
Okay, well, thank you. And thanks for sharing your innovative approach to safety and bringing Saxby with you.
All right.
I do appreciate it. And I hope you all will stop for a bit and think about safety, particularly this time of year or any time of year. If you're out in the yard, if you're using equipment, if you're driving, think defensive and caution. Don't be in too much of a rush. And thank you for watching.